In a world of high-security vaults, cutting-edge surveillance, and heavily armed guards, pulling off the perfect heist should be impossible. But on the night of July 17, 2019, one crew did exactly that. In a matter of hours, $100 million vanished. No alarms. No witnesses. No traces. Just an empty vault, and a stunned nation. The fortress wasn't your average bank. Located in the financial heart of New Harbor City, it was known as the most secure private vault in the entire country. Its clients? Politicians, celebrities, drug lords, anyone who needed to hide vast amounts of wealth away from prying eyes. The building stood like a monolith, 40 floors, armored walls, biometric scanners, 24/7 surveillance, and a private security force with ex-military backgrounds. Rumor had it even government intelligence agencies couldn't crack it. But that reputation made it the perfect target. Pause for effect. What most didn't know was that for every unbreakable system, there is one flaw: human greed. The mastermind behind the heist was never supposed to exist. To this day, no one knows his real name. Authorities only know him by the codename Ghost. He wasn't a brute force type of criminal. Ghost specialized in psychological warfare. He didn't just rob banks, he studied them, their protocols, their weaknesses, their people. Months before the heist, Ghost began assembling his crew. Mara the Chameleon Lopez, an expert social engineer who could slip into any identity. Leon Wires Becker, a hacker capable of breaking into the most secure digital systems. Victor the Mole Dawson, an inside man, a disgruntled Fortress employee with debts and grudges. Samuel the Silent Briggs, former Special Forces, now Ghost's muscle and tactical expert. Each of them had been carefully recruited and tested. But none of them knew everything. Only Ghost saw the full puzzle. The plan was 2 years in the making. Every move calculated. Mara Lopez spent months building her cover identity as an elite art dealer. She infiltrated New Harbor's high society and earned the trust of several Fortress clients. Meanwhile, Leon Wires Becker hacked into Fortress's lesser-known vendor systems, their HVAC, security lighting, even their janitorial services. Piece by piece, he built backdoors without triggering alerts. Victor Dawson, the insider, slowly began manipulating schedules, adjusting maintenance routines, changing shift patterns, and planting minor glitches that seemed harmless but would later prove vital. And Samuel Briggs? He trained the team in infiltration drills, escape routes, and contingency plans. But Ghost? He watched. He studied. He waited. The night of the heist was carefully chosen. New Harbor's annual Founders Gala was in full swing at the Grand Marina Hotel, just blocks away from Fortress headquarters. The city's elite were distracted, including most of Fortress's board members and top executives. Inside the Fortress, the skeleton crew had no idea what was coming. At exactly 11:13 p.m., power across New Harbor flickered, just for a second. A cyber attack orchestrated by Wires simulated a regional grid disturbance. Backup generators kicked in, but for those few seconds, surveillance feeds went dark. At that same moment, a fire alarm triggered in the sub-basement, an accident staged by Victor. Most of the security team responded to the basement, leaving the vault floor lightly guarded. The window was open. Dressed as overnight maintenance staff, identities pre-approved weeks earlier, Ghost, Mara, Briggs, and Wires entered the Fortress through Service Bay 3. Mara's biometric access had been spoofed. Wires looped live surveillance feeds, showing empty corridors while the crew advanced. Every step was rehearsed. One floor above the vault, Wires accessed the server room. His custom malware froze internal logs and fed false data to security. Then came the vault door. The Fortress vault was considered uncrackable. Dual key entry, thermal scanners, heartbeat monitors, and a laser grid. But here's where Ghost's brilliance shined. The thermal scanner? Spoofed with a temperature-controlled plate. The heartbeat monitor? Overridden by Victor's inside access days earlier. The laser grid? Avoided entirely by accessing the vault's emergency maintenance crawlspace, a feature almost no one outside of engineering even knew existed. At 12:47 a.m., the vault door opened. Inside, safety deposit boxes, bearer bonds, rare diamonds, and $100 million in untraceable cash. They had exactly 22 minutes before the vault's biometric check reset. As they loaded the duffel bags, everything was smooth, almost too smooth. Then Mara froze. One of the deposit boxes was labeled with a symbol she recognized, the Black Orchid. It was the insignia of a secretive international cartel. Inside that box were documents far more valuable than the money, bribe records, murder-for-hire contracts, and offshore account details implicating top government officials. Ghost made a split-second decision. He took not just the money, but the documents too. It was a decision that would change everything. The team exited just as seamlessly as they entered, their bags disguised as cleaning equipment. At 1:15 a.m., as Fortress staff resumed normal duties, the crew was already 5 miles away, driving separate vehicles in separate directions. But Ghost knew, the money wasn't the real prize. The documents were a loaded gun pointed at some of the most powerful people in the country. By 6 a.m., Fortress executives discovered the heist. Panic erupted. No alarms had gone off. No cameras captured anything. The biometric logs showed no anomalies. The vault appeared untouched on initial inspection. By the time they realized what had happened, the crew was long gone. The FBI, Interpol, private investigators, all descended upon New Harbor. But leads were scarce. The media dubbed it, the heist that shook the nation. Here's where the story takes its darkest turn. Within 48 hours of the heist, several things happened that the public never heard about. Victor the Mole Dawson was found dead, ruled an accidental overdose. A high-ranking politician quietly resigned, citing personal reasons. An investigative journalist covering the story vanished. The Black Orchid cartel had discovered the breach. They wanted the documents back, at any cost. But Ghost anticipated this. A month later, anonymous files were leaked to international media outlets. The files included evidence of government corruption, money laundering schemes, cartel involvement in political assassinations. The scandal rocked multiple governments. Protests erupted. Arrests followed. But Ghost? He disappeared, along with Mara, Wires, and Briggs. The $100 million? Never recovered. The documents? Released strategically. Many believe Ghost didn't just want the money. He wanted leverage and revenge. To this day, the whereabouts of Ghost's crew remain unknown. Rumors suggest Mara lives under a new identity in Monaco. Wires is rumored to have joined an underground hacker collective in Eastern Europe. Briggs? Some say he lives off the grid in South America. As for Ghost? No one knows. Some say he died. Others claim he still operates, pulling strings behind the world's most mysterious financial scandals. A perfect crime isn't one where you get away with it. It's one where they never even know who you are. The heist that shook the nation remains one of the greatest unsolved robberies in modern history. And perhaps, it always will.